Well, welcome everybody. It is day one of the Pivot to Profitable Entrepreneurship Challenge. And today our topic is transform your credibility. Now, this is one of my favorite days because what happens is we're going to go through, what do you want your ideal life to look like? How are you going to build a business to support that? How are you going to build a reputation to support that so that you can have everything that you want? And so this is a day that I do live. It's the only day of the challenge that I actually broadcast live because what I want is for you to get interested. And if you want to be part of the rest of the challenge, then you are so welcome to register for that. So I'll make sure that the link is available for you in the chat box. But until I put that up, you are welcome to enjoy this and see what the experience is like. And if you decide that you want to join us for the rest of the week, I would love to have you. So one of the reasons I really like to talk about transforming your credibility is because highly accomplished professionals have the most difficulty pivoting to profitable entrepreneurship. Part of that is because of the way that we are trained in university, that we have to climb a corporate ladder, that we have to stay within this box of our professional training, that we have to be a jack of all trades with our training, and it is a disservice when you want to step into the entrepreneurial world. It serves you if you're climbing the corporate ladder, it serves you if you're working for someone else, but it does not serve you when you are stepping into entrepreneurship. So part of the problem is professionals get too perfectionist. I'm sure most of you can remember when you were in university that you were told, you have to be professional. Well, telling someone that they have to be professional without defining what those parameters are is not helpful. I remember in dental school being told, okay, you guys, you can have your fun while you're in dental school, but once you're out in the real world, you have to be professional. And that doesn't really mean anything specific, except it makes us go, oh my gosh, I need to keep my guard up so that no one sees what the real me is like. No one can actually see how I am going to interact in the world. All these things come out of us that are unnecessary. And so being too perfectionist is not going to help you to be a profitable entrepreneur. You're going to make mistakes. You have to be willing to accept those mistakes and move on from them. If you get caught up in perfection, you may not even launch, which we're going to talk about on day 5, which is failure to launch. So we need to get past our perfectionism and be able to be real with our audience, be able to be real with our customers, be able to be real when we're putting ourselves out on platforms so that people can see that we are human. What also happens to block people from being able to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship, especially as professionals, is they give into their shoulds. If you are making the decision to step out of corporate or to step out of the traditional line of being a professional and stepping into entrepreneurship, people are going to go, why are you doing that? You should stay doing what you're doing presently because you're making a good income. You should stay doing this because you've been doing it for so long. Why would you give that up now? You should. And if you hear enough shoulds, especially in a moment of doubt, it becomes really easy to run back to working for someone else and giving up on your entrepreneurial dream, on failing to launch, which is not what we want. If you are getting brave enough to become an entrepreneur and to step out of the box of professionalism, step out of the box of 9 to 5, and start creating a ripple effect in the world, you have to be able to isolate yourself from the shoulds and know what you want to do. What you want to do to change the world, what you want for yourself, the kind of life that you want to design for yourself. Another reason that people, especially professionals, have difficulty pivoting to profitable entrepreneurship is there is lack of support in their new endeavor. So not only do you have people shoulding all over you, you have people who have known you for a long time in the role that you're in, and they don't necessarily consciously realize this, but they don't want you to change. And as an entrepreneur, going from being a 9 to 5 professional to being an entrepreneur is going to change you. You're going to have to step into a new level. You're going to have to transform into a more confident person, into a greater genius in your work, into becoming able to market yourself. There's a whole bunch of things that happen. And the circle around you, there may be a few people who are like, oh my gosh, high five, good job, go get it. I'm here to support you. But you're going to find a lot of people are not. And it's their own discomfort with the transformation that you're going through that causes that, unfortunately. But it doesn't have to be that you are out there swinging by yourself. You can develop a whole support network to be able to do the things that you want so that you can get to where you want with the people around you that can support you. Now, another reason that people get caught up not being able to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship is they think that they have to binge on acquiring new certifications. So they don't think what they've got is good enough. They don't think that they are going to be able to leverage what they've got. And so they go, okay, well, to become a doctor, to become a lawyer, to become an accountant, I had to get all these certifications. So now if I want to do this new thing, now I have to acquire all these other certifications. And what I'm going to tell you is that is not true. That is actually a fallacy. And what happens is if you are able to leverage your experience, your expertise, and your passion in the path that you've already been on, you're going to be able to pivot more quickly. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have to do some examining of what goes on in your head. That makes you a genius at what you do, but you don't have to go back to school, go get another degree, go get another certification. If you grab a program, if you want help to get to where you want to go, you can be learning how to package what you've got so that you are not going back and reinventing the wheel. And trust me, the path that you've been on, other people want to be able to be on that path as well. So you're going to be able to repackage what you've got. And the biggest thing that stops people from being able to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship easily is they never fully own their genius. And this is a hard one. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that we're going to go through this week, is actually being able to own your genius. Because if you don't own your genius, then you're going to be trying to grab every tool that you have and try and show that to the world and never be something that is highly marketable. You're not going to be easy to understand to the marketplace. And it is going to take you longer to get traction, longer to get that credibility, longer to be able to build an audience, longer to be able to get sales if you don't niche fully into your genius. And we're going to look at how to identify that today so that we can start getting rid of the things that are holding us back from being in our genius. The biggest premise for success as an entrepreneur is shifting your mindset. Shifting your mindset from, I have to work 9 to 5, I have to work 100 hours a week, I have to designing the life that you want. And then building a business to support that. And there's right ways and wrong ways to do that, obviously. You can learn to do it yourself, you can have guidance, or you can actually learn to be part of a great program and be able to do that. But it is going to take a shift from being a career-oriented professional to being an entrepreneurial-oriented professional. So we're going to go through a lot of things this week, and it's going to open your mind to the possibilities for yourself. It's going to be opening your mind to the possibilities of the life that you want. It'll be opening your mind to going from trading time for money to decreasing the amount of time that you work while increasing the amount of money that you can make, which sounds counterintuitive, especially when you have been down that professional path and you're in that 9 to 5. You're used to trading time for money. That's how the life that you're living works. But when we can blow that up, burn it down, and get to actually designing the life that you want, you're going to see that the number of hours that you work isn't necessarily going to dictate the number of dollars that you're going to make. So we're going to acknowledge our dream life today. We're going to look at, what do I actually want from this life and how am I going to get there? We're going to look at transforming your credibility. We're going to look at owning your genius. We're going to look at attracting your ideal clients, leveraging your pivot blueprint, as well as avoiding failure to launch. So this is the premise for the next 5 days. So today we're really just focusing on acknowledging your dream life and transforming your credibility. But if you like it and you decide you want to be part of the rest of the week, then you can join us through the challenge link. By going through this week, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to do the work you love with clients that you love while earning more and working less and unleashing massive influence in the world. So this is not a narcissistic play. This is not a money-grabbing play. The people that I work best with and the people that tend to be attracted to my methodology are people who want to create impact. Their purpose in life goes way beyond themselves. It goes into creating a ripple effect in the world. So they affect a client, that client affects their clients. And so there's this massive butterfly effect that happens. So it's very much mission driven, not financial driven. Now, most people are fairly stuck in their misery. They may not be completely miserable, but they're allowing things to happen that are making them unhappy. And part of the reason we do this is because it's what we know. It's easier. It's easier to, have these things that we don't like happening on a daily basis that are predictable versus going into the unpredictable and going, okay, I want this, but what is this going to look like when I actually do it? So this is why people stay stuck. So what I'd like you to do right now, if you're in a safe space, if you're driving a car, please don't do this. But if you're in a safe space, I would like you to close your eyes right now. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And what I want you to do is picture the parts of your life that you love, the parts of your life that give you energy, the parts of your life that you would not trade for anything. And as you picture this, I want you to engage your other senses. So what do those parts sound like? What do they taste like? What do they feel like? So I want you to look around and see all those parts of your life that you love, that you would not trade for anything in the world. Breathe it in and breathe out. Now, I'd like you to picture the parts of your life that you hate, the parts that make your skin crawl, the parts that annoy you when you have to do them during your day. Maybe it's the location that you're in, maybe it's the person that you're with, maybe it's the company that you work with, maybe it is the company that you built, maybe it's the employees that you work with, maybe it's the team members that you work with. Whatever it is, the parts of your life that are dragging you down, I want you to fully visualize those as well. And go beyond just what you see. What does it feel like inside your body experiencing those parts of your life that you hate? What is it like smelling those parts? What is it like tasting those parts? What is it like hearing those? Now, still with your eyes closed, I want you to picture yourself striking a match, throwing it over your shoulder, and burning down those parts of your life that you hate without any negative consequences. And I want you to breathe in what it is like to live completely in the parts of your life that you love. You can open your eyes. So I know burning parts of your life down sounds a little bit extreme, but I am known as the arsonist, and this is truly what I help people to do. We identify the parts of your life that are not working for you, that are holding you back, that are keeping you from the life that you want, and we slowly start burning them to the ground so that from the ash rises the parts of your life that you love, allowing you to do the work that you love with clients that you love, living fully into your genius and creating massive impact in the world. And when you can do that, that is a beautiful place to be. That is where work no longer feels like work. That is where your clients start to feel like friends because you are passionate about them. They are passionate about you. This is where you feel like you're on holiday all the time because life feels easy. This is where I want you to get to. I'm going to tell you a story about how I became the arsonist. And it all started one Saturday morning. I was laying in bed with a boyfriend after a long entrepreneurial week, and he rolls over and kisses my tired forehead and asks me a question that changes the course of my life. He asked me, Ange, what does your dream life look like? Now, admittedly, feeling a little bit judged by this because I know why he's asking. I know he's asking because this week I neglected him. He feels like I'm going to destroy our relationship because of all the entrepreneurial endeavors I'm taking on. He feels like he is being negatively affected. Took a deep breath and just tried to remove myself from that anger and went, okay, well, Ange, what does your dream life look like? And what came out of my mouth surprised me. My dream life looks like waking up in the tropics, feeling the humidity on my skin, smelling fragrant flowers in the air, and seeing palm trees outside my window. My dream life is getting on a motorcycle every morning to go to the beach and surf at sunrise. My dream life is coming home to enjoy a beautiful meal across from a beautiful man. My dream life is working 3 hours per day and creating massive impact in the world, making $1 million per year because of that impact. My dream life is finishing that work and going and enjoying life, being able to enjoy life in the jungle, being able to enjoy good friends, enjoy good food, enjoy more than just work. And my dream life also means going to bed, knowing I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, doing exactly what I'm meant to do. As I'm telling him this, I laughed to myself because I'm like, well, I don't know where that came from. And that is nothing like what my current life looks like. My current life was me building my third company, working 100 hours per week, feeling like I was imprisoned by my businesses, but also happily imprisoned. I loved being a serial entrepreneur. I loved it because I felt like a badass. Everyone thought I was a badass because I was doing all these cool things. I was living out my passion in all the companies that I was building. I was creating ripple effects in people's lives. I was using my best skills and building brands around each of those skills. So I was living what people would have considered a pretty badass life. So why was that so different than that picture I'd painted with this awkward question that he had asked me? Well, that boyfriend came and went, but that question was so gnawing. It drilled into my brain because I started to realize that the life I was living was not my dream life. It was not even close to my dream life. And so I'd lay in bed at night, scratching my dry, itchy skin. I was living in Calgary in winter and realizing that I was doing things because I'd always done them. I was doing things because I'd been influenced by other people's shoulds. I'd been influenced by my own path, my professional upbringing, my artistic upbringing. All these things that had come into my life were keeping me in a city that I didn't really like. I didn't like the weather. We had winter 10 months of the year sometimes. The weather was harsh when it was wintertime. It was a place that worshipped badass entrepreneurs who were giving the pound of flesh, who were working those 100 hours a week. It was cool to be a martyr to your business. And I wanted to be free. So this question of what does your dream life look like started to have me seeing parts of other people's lives that I went, oh, I'd like that. And it wasn't about coveting my neighbor's life, coveting my neighbor's goods, anything like that. It was about realizing that I could have anything that I wanted. And it was fully a choice. What had got me to that point of working 100 hours a week, being a serial entrepreneur, being imprisoned as a badass in the businesses that I created was my fault. It was my choices that had added up to that situation. And if I wanted to live that dream life in the tropics, I needed to take radical responsibility for every decision I was making and start making choices in the direction of the life that I had talked about that Saturday morning. And that's how I ended up buying a one-way ticket to Nicaragua after selling everything that I owned, including my house, including all my goods, getting on a plane with a few suitcases, and the next morning, waking up, feeling the humidity on my skin, smelling the tropical flowers in the air, and seeing palm trees outside my window. Now, most people, when they're on their deathbed, wished they had lived a life true to themselves. When the majority of people feel that way, that means we are not living the life that we want presently. We are being influenced by our families saying, well, this is the path that everyone else has taken. You should take that path. We're being told, well, culturally, this is the path that you should be taking in your gender role. or at your intelligence level. This is the path that you should be on because you're a professional. And we have all these shoulds that are influencing our life, and we can be captured by these and feeling chained to our life instead of feeling unleashed from it and actually living a life that is true to ourselves. And living a life subscribed to other people's shoulds versus a life true to yourself is a choice. It's 100% a choice. No one is keeping you exactly where you are. You may say, oh, but I have this and this and this and this and this that makes me have to stay there. Well, that's not true. It's a choice. So over this week, over these next 5 days, I want you to start paying attention to the things that you're telling yourself that you should be doing that are not aligned with your dream life. And start taking radical responsibility for those. And making a decision whether you want to stay subscribed to those shoulds or if you want to flip them to be able to get to the dream life that you want. So now we're going to focus on you. And what I'd like you to do is have you close your eyes. Again, only if you're in a safe space. If you're driving, please don't do that. But if you are in a safe space, close your eyes. I'd like you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. So I want you to imagine starting your life again. You're still at the same age, but you're able to take all the lessons that you've learned to date, all the experiences that you have, all the passion that you have, and start your life again without any negative consequences to the life that you're presently living. If you were to 100% be living into your dream life, where would you be waking up? As you wake up in that location, what do the sheets feel like on your skin? What does the room look like that you're waking up in? What does it smell like? Are you waking up beside anyone? As you roll over and get out of bed and put your feet on the floor, what does the floor feel like? Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it dry? Is it humid? Is it fuzzy? And as you walk out of your bedroom and find your way to the kitchen, you put your hands on the counter of your dream kitchen and you rub your hands back and forth. What does that dream kitchen feel like? In your dream life, what are you eating for breakfast? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like in your mouth? Who are you sitting across from as you're eating breakfast in your dream life? How does it feel to be sitting across from that person? Or maybe you're sitting by yourself. And how does that feel? As you get on with your day in your dream life, what are you doing next? If you're heading to work, where is work? Is it at your home or is it outside your home? How are you getting there? Are you walking? Are you driving? Are you flying? Are you riding a motorcycle? And when you get to work, how excited are you to be there? What kind of people are you working with? What kind of clients do you have? Do you have a team? Or is your company completely supported by automation and a virtual assistant? How does it feel to be working with those people? How excited are you to work with your team, to work with those clients? And what kind of work are you doing? Is it in your genius? In your dream life? Are you doing the work that you love? Are you doing the work you love with clients that you love? Are you earning what you want in the hours that you want? In your dream life, how many hours per day are you working? At the end of your workday in your dream life, how much have you made? Doing the work that you are in your dream life, are you creating impact in people's lives? Are you making a difference? Now, as your workday ends and you come back to home, you open your phone and you glance at your bank account. How much money do you have saved in your dream life? How much are you worth? As you see that number, how does that make you feel? Do you feel proud? Do you feel successful? Confident? How do you actually feel in your dream life with how much money you have saved? As you continue on with the rest of your day, what are you doing? Who are you doing it with? And how does it feel to have that freedom, that time freedom, that financial freedom to actually enjoy your day? And as your ideal day finishes, as your dream life finishes, and you crawl back into bed, as you're laying there about to drift off into a deep slumber, what is the last thought that crosses your mind? So I'd like you to open your eyes again. And just notice how you feel after living that ideal life, that dream life that you can have if you got rid of all the parts of your life that you hate, kept the parts of your life that you love, and start rising from the ashes, that ideal life that you'd love to have. Now, how does that compare to your current life? If you were to rate yourself out of 10, 10 out of 10 meaning you are living your dream life, all the parts that you have imagined for yourself based on the information that you've gathered from your experience, your expertise, your passion that you want out of this life, 10 out of 10 means you have achieved all that. Doesn't mean you're not growing, but it means that you have achieved the things that you envisioned for yourself. 0 out of 10 means you got a long ways to go. The life that you are living right now looks nothing like your dream life. So out of 10, how would you rate yourself? Now, building your dream life, aligning all the pieces, burning down the things that aren't working, doesn't necessarily mean things are really going to change. So 3 months after booking my one-way flight to Nicaragua, I started waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, soaked from head to toe, because I'd had another nightmare that something had gone wrong with my business, that I'd failed a client, that we were in trouble. And I started to realize that the way that I was running my businesses was not aligned with this dream life that I wanted. Just because I had burned everything down, I'd sold my house, I sold all my items, I had sold one of my companies before I left, I had left my country and started in a tropical country, didn't mean I'd actually changed. I found myself again. Angela followed me to Nicaragua, whether I wanted her to or not. And I started to realize that if I wanted to live that dream life with the feelings that I had had when I described it that morning, that Saturday morning, lying in bed with that boyfriend, things needed to change. I started to acknowledge that I was drowning in my own ambition. That badass serial entrepreneur wanted to grab me and pull me down. She wanted me to stay subscribed to the 100 hours a week. She wanted me to stay subscribed to being a martyr to my business. She wanted me to stay subscribed, escaping life by escaping into my business. And I was tired. I wanted to feel the way that I'd felt. I'd changed my environment, but the way that I felt had come back. Whatever I had burnt down, I just built more stuff in its place. And part of the reason that happened is because of opportunity distractions. As entrepreneurs, as people who want to be entrepreneurs as well, part of the reason you will be great as an entrepreneur is because you can see the vision. You can see the opportunity in everything that comes in front of you. And you can be chasing a whole bunch of different rabbits and catching none, or you can get laser focused on the best thing for you. the best thing that is aligned with your genius. And it's hard to say no to those things, especially when you can see the potential in them. But if you want to get successful fast, if you want to get profitable fast, you have to narrow your focus and get narrow and deep with your genius. So you have to start burning away those opportunity distractions. What I realized was I wanted to build one company. I wanted to have one offer, and I wanted to take that offer to netting $1 million per year, which meant things needed to change because I still had 2 companies at that point. I had 14 full-time team members that I was managing, and I was working 100 hours a week. I was getting spread so thin, and I felt pulled in so many different directions. This is why I was waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. So if I wanted to achieve this, things needed to change. But I wasn't exactly sure how things were going to have to change. So I needed to figure out what people were willing to pay me for. So what I did was I took sticky notes. I had this color and I had pink ones. And on each piece of sticky note, I wrote a single skill that I knew people would pay me for. And wrote a skill, peeled it off, put it on a whiteboard. So by the time I was done listing all my skills, because my skills were wide, as I'm sure they are for you, I had this 2-foot by 3-foot whiteboard covered in pink and yellow sticky notes. And it felt overwhelming. This didn't feel like a solution. This felt like more drowning. I was now drowning in my skill set. So I decided to take a run and go to sleep and then wake up the next morning. Wake up with this whiteboard staring me in the face. I was like, well, there was a moment of inspiration. There was a reason these little sticky notes came to me to tell me I needed to write a skill at a time. So I started looking at all these skills and I was like, okay, let's start making order out of the chaos. So in one corner, I put the skills that people were willing to pay me for, but I didn't want to do. They were the kind of skills that I hated. They might have been lucrative, but I didn't like them. And then in the other corner, I started putting the skills that I love to do, the ones that don't feel like work, the ones that fuel my passion, the ones that make me feel like I am in the right place doing the right thing. And amongst the group of ones that I loved, I started to order them from most loved to least loved. And what came out in the wash was my niche of genius. My niche of genius is empowering highly accomplished professionals to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship. And what that is supported by, as far as my top 3 skills, is I am great at cracking clients open. I'm great at getting people to spill their guts to me, show me their soul, show me their experience, their expertise, their passion, and being able to package them so they can create a product that they can put out in the marketplace. I'm also amazing at helping people to intentionally burn the stuff that doesn't need to be part of their life so that they can go from their current life to their dream life. I'm also amazing at helping people to own their niche of genius and getting brave enough to burn away everything that doesn't belong in that so that they can be living their dream life, doing the work that they love with clients that they love, earning more, working less, and unleashing massive impact in the world. So these are the 3 components of my niche of genius. So what I did was took all those sticky notes off the whiteboard and wrote down those 3 things and started a bonfire. I started looking at the things I was doing in my day that didn't belong into those 3 categories. Start calling clients and telling them, these are the 3 things I'm doing now. The other things that I'm doing for you, I will no longer be doing. I have people who can take it for you. Or if you're no longer comfortable working with me, that's fine. I will refer you to other people. And so I started getting rid of the parts of my life that I hated, the work that I hated, and started burning things down until all that remained was those 3 skills. So what I'd like you to look at right now is, what do you think your niche of genius is? If you were to describe in one sentence what you do best in this world, what is that? Now, I know that's kind of a mean question because most people do not know what their niche of genius is. So let's break it down. I want you to do the same exercise that I did. If you have sticky notes, go get them because the sticky notes are going to help you to figure out what your top 3 skills are. Worst case right now, just Write on a piece of paper all the things that people are willing to pay you for. And if you have things that you love to do that you're not sure that people will pay you for, I want you to write those down too. Because I promise you, you can make money doing whatever you want as long as you are creating impact in people's lives. So you're going to write these out and see what comes out of it. And then what I want you to do is order them from most hated to most loved and see what comes out in your top 3. Those top 3 skills, you're going to package those into what you present as your genius in the marketplace. What you want to be known for, what you want to bet your reputation on, what you want to transform your credibility into. Now, that might make some of your stomachs turn, thinking that you are going to only do these top 3 things. The other skills that you have, the other tools that you have in your toolkit, you're not throwing those out, right? We're not melting those down and never touching them again. Those skills are always going to support you. And they're wired into your brain. You can't even let them go if you wanted to. But what we want to do is figure out how do we pick out those top 3 things and put them out to the marketplace so that they are understandable. Because if you try and put yourself out there as a Jack or Jill of all trades, people don't really know what you're doing. That's a good employee tactic. It is not a good entrepreneurial tactic. And once you know what those top 3 skills are, you're going to get to start a bonfire. So you are going to be embodying the arsonist for yourself this week. And all those other pieces of paper, those sticky notes that aren't part of your top 3, I want you to burn them away. Literally burn them. Obviously in a safe place. Don't burn your house down, but burn them in a safe place. And it is metaphorical, but it is actually going to start creating changes in your brain and start moving you towards actually fully niching into those top 3 skills. And what I want you to be able to start building is a company that is simple, effective, and influential. Simple. Not with 14 full-time employees. Something that is simple for you to run so you understand what the moving pieces are. That is effective. It creates impact in people's lives over and over and over again. It influences the marketplace. It also influences your life so that you can be living your dream life, having the financial outcome that you want, having the time freedom that you want, living in the passion that you want. So after my bonfire, I was down to a simple, effective, and influential company. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I got rid of my other skills and I stayed with those top 3 things. And what happened was there was 3 months of pretty quiet, very tentative moments for me where I'm like, oh my gosh, did I do this wrong? Because I didn't have anyone guiding me. This was my intuition that I needed to do this. And so I did it. And so I had already sold off the social media agency part of Unleashing Influence. I had sold off the business coaching company for dentists completely. I'd sold off my dance company. And all I was left with was what I did, which was helping people to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship. And almost exactly to the day of 3 months into burning everything down, I started getting messages on LinkedIn of people saying, I've heard what you do and I need to have a chat. The moment that I realized that I was on the right path was the moment I got a payment in full for my services. And the amount when I checked my bank account that landed was more than I would have made in a full month working full-time as a dentist. I breathed a sigh of relief. And once that ball started rolling, then more clients started coming to me. So I got more and more messages, people reaching out to me saying, I think you can help me. How much does it cost? When can we get started? And so Unleashing Influence in the Pivoting to Profitable Entrepreneurship one-on-one coaching business started to explode. And I started to realize if I stay on this path, I'm going to go back to being the Angela that I used to be, the Angela that I don't want to be, the one who's working 100 hours a week, who is a badass, who is a martyr to her business. When I started this massive bonfire, I wanted to burn down to one company, one offer that was going to net more than $1 million per year. So I took a step back and looked at what I was doing and realized that these one-on-one coaching clients that I was working with, they had quite a few things in common. I noticed that I was repeating the same things to them throughout the week. I noticed that they were not feeling supported in their endeavors. They felt like they were alone, that everyone thought they were insane, that they were misunderstood, that they were not supported by their friends and family. And I also noticed that they had amazing experience that I really wanted everyone else to hear. So I decided to light another match and burn down my one-on-one programs and convert it to a group program, which is called the Pivot Accelerator. And what was interesting with this was, by no longer working one-on-one with clients, only working in this group Pivot Accelerator methodology, the amount of work that I had ever accomplished with people in all my years of coaching, about 2 years worth of work, we were now accomplishing in 90 days. People were getting launched with their whole business intact, with automations behind them, with an amazing offer that people want to buy, with sales skills, with websites and landing pages and all the marketing behind it. We could get all that compressed from 2 years into 90 days. So they could pivot completely to their new endeavor and get profitable fast. And the cool thing actually about going from one-on-one to group coaching was this. My hourly rate, the first round of the Pivot Accelerator, was 6 times what I was making coaching one-on-one. Now it's 17 times. And it's still continuing to expand because of the different values that I'm bringing into the program. So the cost of the program is going up, but there's more ways to get people even more successful. So this is what I want you to learn from this. Yes, it's scary to burn things down and stick with those 3 things in your niche of genius and go hard on those and show those to the marketplace and be like, this is what I'm known for, and not showing them all this other skill set that you have. But when you actually fully niche into your genius, you transform your credibility in the marketplace. And what happens is you have this pivot in your life. You've made this choice, but the rest of your life starts to follow that pivot. You start being able to do the work that you love. You're going to be a specialist that allows you to increase your profitability. If you do what I teach, which is going from one-on-one to group coaching and consulting, then you are able to affect way more lives and free up your time while increasing your income. So over this week, we're really going to dig into pivoting to the profitable entrepreneurship blueprint, really leveraging this so that you are going to be able to acknowledge your dream life and start making choices to get to where you want to go. We're going to look at transforming your credibility. So by owning your top 3 skills and over this next week, cultivating what your niche of genius is, you're going to be able to transform your credibility in the marketplace. You're going to own the identity of your genius and get rid of all those shoulds that people are trying to tell you, all those little gremlins that are on your shoulder saying, you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe this is the bad idea. Maybe you should stick with what you're doing. We're going to be able to burn those away and start owning your genius. You're also, because of these things, going to be able to start attracting ideal clients, because in the marketplace, people are going to go, oh, that's what that person does. Oh, I get it. And when that happens, it's easy to build out an audience of ideal clients. It's easy to get people to come into programs like challenges, which we use significantly in the 90-day Pivot Accelerator and beyond, to get our ideal clients in front of us, having a conversation with us where we get to work them through a concept over 5 days to get them a transformation at the end of it, so that they go, oh, I can do this. Oh, and you're the person who seems to be able to help me with this. We're also going to be looking at crafting your limelight. So yes, you know who your ideal clients are, but if you build it, doesn't mean they're going to come. If you build it, you also need to build the path for them to get there. So crafting your limelight is how you do that. That's how you build your marketing. And we're also going to look at how to avoid failure to launch. Remember, the first thing I said was highly accomplished professionals have the greatest difficulty pivoting profitable entrepreneurship. So we're going to break through those things that hold people up from pivoting to profitable entrepreneurship, so you will be able to avoid failure to launch and get the success that you want. so that you are setting yourself up to live your dream life, which includes doing the work that you love with clients that you love while you earn more, create massive time freedom by working less, and unleash massive influence in the world. The most successful entrepreneurs that I know aren't doing it for them. They've realized they have this higher purpose. They realize that all these experiences, all this expertise that they've honed, this passion that is brewing inside them is meant to create impact in other people's lives. And that's where, again, your work starts to not feel like work. It starts to feel like play. It starts to feel like you're living your passion. Your clients start to feel like friends. You start to have a fire ignited in you that is really hard for people to stand in the way. So their shoulds get burned away really easily. The gremlins talking to you on your shoulder get burned away really easily. You start to be able to burn down all the parts of your life that are not working so that you can build your dream life. So that the things that you're doing in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day business, are the things that you love, that you pictured at the beginning of today's session. So here's a little bit of homework for you. Now, if you're actually part of the challenge, you will be sent a workbook that is going to help you to work through every day what we've talked about and really start building a blueprint for how to be successful. So there's going to be revelations that you're going to come to because of the work that you're going through. There is going to be game plan for setting up, okay, how do I actually move this forward? You're going to have ability to pull yourself out of when you get into negative self-talk. You're going to be able to pull yourself out when you hit a boundary that feels like, oh, I can't move past this, so that you are able to pivot to profitable entrepreneurship. So I want you to go back and listen to this recording and go back to the part where we talked through your dream life. And I would like you to actually write that down. So where do you want to wake up? Who do you want to be waking up with? Where are you working? What kind of work are you doing? Who are you working with? How much money are you making while you're doing that work? How many hours per day are you working? How much money is in your bank account? And what does your life outside of work look like? So write out that dream life. And I want you to go to sleep tonight walking yourself through that dream life. And before our session tomorrow, I want you to walk yourself through that dream life again. I also want you to define your top 3 skills of genius. So again, if you have sticky notes, use them. If you don't have sticky notes, go get some and write out 1 skill on each piece of sticky note and stick it on something, and then order them from most loved to most hated and see what your top 3 are. I would also like you to acknowledge your credibility publicly. So we have a group called Unleashing Influence Challenges, which if you join the challenge, you'll be invited to that. If you are wanting to get into that group as well, feel free to send a request and we'll let you in. But I want you to acknowledge in the group tonight what you are most credible at. So this is going to get you to start owning your genius. I also want you to write your letter to self and do the mindset questionnaire. And then we'll see you tomorrow. So if you have not actually signed up for the Unleashing Influence Challenge or the Pivot to Profitable Entrepreneurship Challenge, here is the place where you can find it. I'll make sure that shows up on all the different platforms. And it is not too late to join this. It is not too late to start making a difference in your life. It's not too late to start getting to where you want to go. So until I see you tomorrow in the Zoom room, which is only available to people who are officially registered, I wish you a beautiful day. I wish you to start dreaming of the dream life that you want and start making different choices to get to the outcome that you foresee in your dreams.